For those of you who haven't thrown yourself out in the community or ever tried out for the numerous amount of projects that show up on the Equestria Daily nightly roundups, and speaking as someone who tried to boot up to and failed, I can tell you firsthand that starting up a project isn't easy. If the reveal of Lee Tokar's fan builds and the delay after delay of Journey of the Spark has taught us anything, it's that it's pretty hard to actually have a product come out of a project. And that's not just with freelance work. We hear all the time about TV pilots that completely go nowhere, or series that get cancelled for a myriad of reasons. As you would imagine, this only gets amplified when people that are part of a project can just say, well, you aren't paying me and I can just leave whenever I want.
Children of the Night was a project that was completely under the radar for Vicodin, whereas I followed the project from day one and frequently followed their development blog. The moment that we decided on doing analysis, we knew that we wanted to look at this project. After the releases of Dusk Dawn and Double Rainbow, Vicodin and I were pretty much ready to be disappointed with Children of the Night. Even with the trailer that was posted, much like the Double Rainbow trailer, we felt that there had to be some sort of caveat for what we saw, as if parts of the trailer were going to be the only good parts. Yes, we're going to come right out and say it. We did not like Double Rainbow or Dusk Dawn, but we loved Children of the Night. As in, how did something of this caliber manage to be made in a fandom that has pretty much disappointed itself for project after project after project, overhyping itself and ending up being average at best, and debatably terrible at worst?
But it isn't perfect. I feel we need to state that right now so that we don't sound like we're fanboying and are willing to give Children of the Night a pass just because it managed to jump over the very low bar that this fandom unfortunately set. There are some things wrong with it, but the more we think about it, the more it seems to come down to personal taste over how to convey certain things for what is essentially an alternate universe project which had its plot decided way before we were given the sisters fighting scene in Princess Twilight Sparkle Part 1. We only had a few things mechanically wrong with it, but we'll explain those when we get to them.
The first 50 seconds of the video were probably the thing that Vicodin and I had the most trouble with, but when it came to explaining what it was we felt odd about this, we mostly kept bouncing retorts back and forth until we approached a consensus. But mostly, the best method that we could explain it is a method in storytelling that is usually coined as show, don't tell. Now, in writing, when it comes to portraying anything, usually the best type of portrayal is with the use of showing us what you're trying to portray. For example, let's say that we're trying to write a villain character. What sounds better in text form? Telling us that a character is evil and leaving it at that, or showing us that the character is evil via body language, their own words, what they do? The list is endless. That's one of the fundamental writing rules of characterization.
The reason that we aren't considering this to be much of a problem is because the video, at least to us, isn't exactly crippled by this 50-second explanation. Sure, 50 seconds is around 19% of the video, but if that 50 seconds provides a well-thought-out framework to let the viewer ride out the 3.5-minute song with no problems, then we really don't have anything wrong with it. Like any author would tell you, the rules of writing are extremely malleable, especially if the writer is adept enough to bend them, and especially when the writing is applied to a completely different medium. Writing a script for an animation is different in the format when compared to, say, a fan fiction, but let's come back to this after we go through the video.
By a minute and 40 seconds, we're through another 50 seconds of the animation, and we see Princess Luna singing atop her spire while we take a glimpse at 2 asleep and 2 awake royal guards along a sleeping Celestia. Kate Covington's voice isn't Luna, and Vicodin and I heard some pushback because of that, but we didn't really find a problem in it. Honestly, with Luna's voice being a tenor, I feel that it wouldn't have exactly coalesced well with the music if a Luna VA was capable of singing at the same caliber as Kate. Her performance in this song was spectacular, minus the small overextension of Wheel at 2 minutes and 15 seconds that sounds like her voice is giving out.
David Larson provided the music for this project, and his composition skills definitely impressed me. I was always a fan of his work ever since the Epic Pony Rap Battles of History beat that he provided for Prince Blue Blood vs. Big Mac, and you could certainly see that he has evolved over that time. As many music people have told me, there's a certain ambiance in being able to put one of the instruments on one side and another on the other while the drums pulse through the center. Excellent job.
Throughout the rest of the video, we see fillies and foals, either in beds or on the street, rising up into the air and flying with Luna into the night as the song concludes with Celestia waking up and staring at the moon. Okay, wait, I think we got it now. The reason that Vicodin and I find the first 50 seconds to be odd is because what Gary tells us is mostly conveyed through the rest of the video. Luna sings to the children, they wake up and wait for her to bring them out into the night, and she brings them with her as they fly out into the sky, and Celestia's surprised expression combined with her fixed gaze on the moon implies that this was all done despite Celestia's wishes.
Although, if we were to chop off the first 50 seconds and just have the music video on its own merits, there would have to be a little bit that the viewer would have to fill in for themselves, like the fact that this takes place after Discord, but the connotation to him doesn't even need to be there because he is not the one being focused on. The rift between the sisters is the main focus behind the video. Discord only pinpoints the time frame of when this is, but that isn't needed because the elements of harmony aren't here. Again, show don't tell, so the viewer would have been able to assume that this takes place during the period that we were told just from what is and isn't there.
For example, the one foal that was sleeping under what appears to be cardboard or wood. That one foal implies that harmony is not perfectly restored in Equestria, and the kingdom is weak because presumably there weren't enough resources to house that foal. Although there is something to be said for the possibility that the foal likes sleeping outside or fell through the cracks for any possible homeless relief.
I guess what we're trying to get at is that sometimes ambiguity is better than clarity, but even then, it wasn't like if Jerry's explanation was cut off, then the viewer would have been completely in the dark. Like we said, the animation pretty much explains everything that Jerry said, so the problem is that the singing part of the video is completely and perfectly self-contained from beginning to end, while the opening 50 seconds leaves something to be desired, or makes the animations afterward feel, I don't want to say redundant, but the impact is lessened.
Another slight problem is the canon provided in the Discord episodes in Season 2. Gary says that not much of their kingdom was there after the fight with Discord, but if Discord was defeated with the elements of harmony, then shouldn't the kingdom be perfectly fine by now? The elements of harmony have shown countless times that they completely fix whatever is broken within the time span of the episode, give or take a few things such as the castle and the Everfree Forest during the Season 1 opener.
But with all of that said, this project was definitely a product of excellence from beginning to end. Within their project blog, the creators of Children of the Night admitted that they didn't want to give a release date because they wanted to focus on completely perfecting the product as much as they could, which was the correct choice. This project didn't overhype itself, it didn't, at least for us, fall flat, it didn't feel like it had to prove anything, and while the story wasn't exactly anything new that we've seen as writers, it was dressed up in a fun animation that could be watched over and over. I mean, the 10-hour version of Children of the Night has over 500,000 views on it, which just shows how much you can maximize replayability by focusing on the quality.
However, there's something to be said for the fact that most of the other projects that we're comparing Children of the Night to are significantly longer and as such probably took way more time to create. Yes, we'll concede to that point. But we consider Children of the Night to be the best My Little Pony fan animation because of the simple mantra of quality over quantity. It was 4 minutes of excellence as opposed to 20 minutes of okay, because duo cartoonists knew what they wanted and they delivered. Hats off to you folks.
Well, that's all we got for this episode. Yeah, it's a little shorter than one of our episode analyses, but that's due to the simple fact that Children of the Night pretty much speaks for itself. There's not a whole lot additionally to analyze. If you haven't seen it, we definitely recommend checking it out. Make sure to subscribe if you already haven't, and leave a comment with any possible questions or suggestions for future episodes or projects that we should analyze. Have a good day, and pony on.